So, hi again, and welcome to another episode and 5 in 5, where we interviewed partners from all over the world about happiness at work. And today, I have online here Neil from London, or not from London, from England. Are you in London?
I'm in Manchester. I did live in London for 15 years, so
First of
feel
all,
like
thank you
I'm
for
London.
being here. And Neil, please introduce yourself.
Hi, yes, Neill Morley. My position, my role has been to work in a law firm for the last 20 odd years now within the IT departments. So I'm a senior manager within the IT departments and proud member of our leadership team that really takes looking after our people seriously.
So, how does a lawyer come to happiness at work?
Yes, the lawyers. I think the lawyers might probably get a bit of a bad press because within the workplace they've just been fantastic to work with. We were, as being an international firm, I've been lucky to work in many of the international offices. We have 400 people within the IT departments, and very rarely is there any issues with working with the lawyers. Just they're just colleagues, and we have a really good culture within the workplace. Yeah,
That's
it's all very
great.
nice.
And what makes you happy at your job?
Okay, so me personally, and I'll talk a bit of my personal side of it, which helps explain why I'm happy within my job because I have been happy and I am a pretty happy person in the workplace. So I did a bit of research and part of the CHO Woohoo partnership has helped me to understand that a bit more. So I think the main thing is that I've got a plan. I understand that I've got a plan, and that's to get my family and myself in a good position, live within our means, and then to be able to get into a kind of second phase, which is earning to give. So I'm really that when I get there, don't know, but just having that plan has really helped me to have that sense of purpose, and that keeps me uplifted in the workplace. So certainly any rough times. And downtimes within the workplace. And I understand now that that's why I generally can ride those things out much more easily than I probably did 5 or 10 years ago.
Wow, great, brilliant, thank you. Why is it important, in your opinion, to invest in happiness at work, especially in an organization, your position? Why is it important?
Okay, so I was chatting to another CHO colleague recently, and I'll pick on the fact that I work within the IT department, and we've noticed within the Woohoo partnership that there's lots of people from an IT background or even companies that are interested from IT. So we talked it through why that would be, and I think my best guess from my experience is that working within technology means that you are constantly delivering results and you're building relationships. And that's much more so the case within our industry now because we've moved from quite old school practices of project delivery, where you do a really big build up, maybe months, maybe even years before you'd actually deliver something. Whereas now we're more in a more modernized way of working where you're delivering results in what's called an agile project management methodology or DevOps as well, if you want to get technical. And that's much more about smaller results, small teams working together and delivering those results quite quickly, which we know is from the Kahneman happiness model from the Woo partnership is really what it's all about. So yeah, we talk about that a lot.
And why is it important to invest? What's the impact on the work, on the results, on the relationship of being happy
Yeah,
at work?
yeah. So I mean, when we started to look at our culture within the IT department, we recognised that we were reasonably healthy. We had low absenteeism, we had good presenteeism, and a healthy presenteeism. People actually wanting to be in the workplace. So we did want to analyse why that was, and then if you've got the results and the relationships, then and there's people, we know that happy people perform better. So all that combined makes us be able to deliver on what the firm's strategy is, which is it sounds quite ambitious about saying that our firm's ambition is to make business better. Being an international law firm, they really do have an impact on making global business better. So if we can see our connection all the way through to that, how we're performing, then we really can feel, I do personally feel like we make a difference to that.
That's wonderful. So where could we start? If I'm a new chief happiness officer and I want to implement some happiness at work tips, what's the first move you recommend me on doing?
Okay, so I do have probably an unusual take on this, and it's to think about the Pareto principle, the 80-20 as it's also known. So lots of happiness in the workplace because there's so much wonderful effort put into well-being and helping people who aren't performing or aren't as happy in the workplace. But if we come from another angle of looking at the people who are really performing, maybe they're at the 20% of people who are producing 80% of the workload, then if we can get even more out of them, then that lifts the general amount of happiness that we would have within the workplace. And that also creates a natural updraft for those people around them that maybe weren't feeling so good. So it's creating improving the happiness within the environment can actually help uplift everybody. I mean, that principle is used in many other ways, but if you try and apply it to happiness, then that's really interesting to me. And we are trying to bring a bit of that. We're quite early in what we're actually doing within our workplace within that. But that's on a bit of the mindset at the moment.
Oh, that's nice. So start working with the ones that are already happy to boost their happiness. That's nice.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not the first person to think that way. I think Sean Akor has really talks about that on his TED Talks, for instance. And he said, let's have a look at what good looks like. His is more about, well, why aren't we analyzing these really happy people? Whereas the Pareto principle is a bit more about even boosting those people.
Wonderful. Can you share with us a success story of a nice example from your organizations or someone you know about a nice idea to how to implement happiness at work?
Yeah, so what's been a real success within the international firm is the values embedding. So for a fair few years now, we've had 4 key values that we've been embedding across the firm. So I'll try and remember them. There's supportive, collaborative, be bold, and be inspirational, and that's gone really well. And then we've moved into a second phase now where we're looking at implementing a framework which actually measures. We brought it in on the performance management system, so a yearly review and measuring people against those. That was really powerful. But now we're actually looking at people's roles and how are people actually performing those values, and therefore creating their actual behaviors. What's the observed behaviors within the workplace, and that creates our culture. So yeah, so I think that we're a good level of maturity. And then a next level that we've been looking at is a full cultural values assessment. So it's a Barrett model is one of the main ones of those, and I'm hoping that we'll move into that this year. So yeah, everything around values and developing the culture.
Purpose and values. That's wonderful. Any final note you want to leave us with?
Just to say thank you for the Woohoo partnership. I really have got so much out of it, and wonderful people to work with, and to be able to contribute and learn from things like this has been wonderful. So thank you, everybody there.
Thank you. And thank you so much for being here. And I feel like we can talk much more for hours, but that's it for today. So thank you so much. Hope to see you soon.
Thank you, Aaron.